Welcome back. We have just witnessed a second murder. Well, I guess we didn't really witness it. But we saw the corpse anyway, and it turned out to be Ziggy, whose head is currently residing in the life mask room. Well, his body is right here. Now that we know it was Ziggy, maybe we can ask someone about it, like a vet here.
You already asked me this, Miss Bo.
No, they don't want to discuss that he's dead. Well, let's see, what else can we do at this point? Well, there's a few locations downstairs that we have not really had the... Can I talk to him about Ziggy? I don't think you can with anyone, really.
You already asked me that, you silly female.
Nope, unfortunately not. We also don't have any new things to ask about. Did we ask him about the notepad before? I think we did. But now we know what it says.
I don't care about the scribblings of that son of a camel. I'm sure whatever he wrote is a lie.
Well, he wrote he was going to meet you, and that was definitely not a lie. Yeah, there's not really that much you can get out of talking to people, unfortunately. I think the secret passage is still open, at least the head is still up. Which begs the question, how did Olympia close it earlier? And the light is still working. So that's good, because we're fresh out of light bulbs. Though I guess we could use the lantern. Not that you ever get the opportunity to try that, because you can't get down here before using the light bulb. And you can't get the lantern until you get down here. So we know that the alcohol preservation lab is over on this side, so let's check this door, which was an office door. And judging by the decor, I'm going to guess Wolf's office.
It's the office of Security Chief Wolf Heimlich.
Indeed. Well, let's take a look around, shall we?
There are many things on these shelves, none of which interest you.
Well, that makes it easier.
That's not the sort of thing you want to examine too closely.
Lots of weapons for some reason.
This is a type of spiked flail known as a holy water sprinkler, which was quite popular in medieval battles. The name, of course, is a humorous reference to the religious device that is swung in a similar manner. The main advantage of a flail over a common mace was that the spiked iron head of the weapon developed extra smashing force as it swung at the end of the chain which attached it to the handle.
Lovely.
Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. Part of Heimlich's antique weapons collection. Part of the intercom crackles and you hear...
Wolfie, it's Olympia. If you can hear me, meet me in the armor room at 2 o'clock. You promised to show me your private scars, remember? See you there, Wolfcakes.
Okay, I think that's one meeting that I definitely don't want to go to. Let's see.
World War I campaign medals. Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany is prominently featured on many of the medals.
Okay. Which side did he fight on? I don't think we need to ask that question.
Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here.
There's a wire coming from there.
It's a length of wire.
That's kind of suspicious.
World War I campaign medals. Kaiser Will...
Same description. Where's that wire going?
It's the Office of Security... It's a length of wire.
Down here. And then it looks like it's going to a mouse trap.
It's a length of wire.
with some cheese in it.
It's too far away for you to get a good look at it, but it's definitely cheese, and it definitely stinks.
Well, fortunately... Wait, what? I literally had the ability to save like 2 seconds ago. Can I save if I go out the room? I can. Oh, and now I can also save in the room, so let's do that. Kind of want that cheese, but I have a feeling that the wire is suspicious. Death from traumatic lead poisoning claims many lives every year. Yeah. I get the feeling Wolf really does not like rats or mice. That seems a little bit overkill. Still want that cheese though, you never know when you might need it. We need to trigger that trap, however, without us being close enough to get shot. How about the bone again? That's kinda long. It worked! We've saved some poor mouse's life.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
Now we've got cheese.
A wedge of the finest Limburger cheese. The ultimate in cheesiness.
Sure.
A closer look reveals a bit of mold on the cheese.
Well, that can be quite normal, since it's cheese.
It's a Thompson submachine gun, also known as a Tommy gun.
Seems quite normal to hide in the wall.
The fine powder on the gun indicates that it has recently been fired.
Yeah, I don't think I needed to find powder to figure that one out.
Don't touch it. You don't know where it's been.
What, I can't walk around carrying a Tommy gun? I'm disappointed. Let's look at the bookshelves. Yeah, it seems to have quite a lot of books.
This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of gardening. Apparently these gardening books were left here by the previous tenant of this office.
Yeah, I was about to say. That doesn't seem like something Wolf would be interested in.
This bookshelf is dedicated to a complete collection of the Encyclopedia of Interrogation and Torture.
That seems more like Wolf's reading style.
This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of modern weaponry. This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of medieval weaponry.
Guess it pays to keep your options open.
This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of museum security, including such books as Criminals Among Us. These are books on art forgery.
Interesting, because we know there is some art forgery going on. Don't know if Wolf's is involved, though.
A series of books on torture without leaving scars.
Lovely. Wait, one of these looks like it's turned around.
For some reason, the spine on this book has been turned round to face the wall, hiding the title.
Another secret passage opening book? No, it's just a book of poems.
This book is a collection of poetry by Lord Byron. Apparently Heimlich had it turned on the bookshelf so that the spine with the title faced the wall. Perhaps he was embarrassed to have a poetry book on his shelf?
Perhaps so. Looks like there's something in the book.
The title, in gold leaf print, says, "The Poetry of Lord Byron. The binding is of high quality leather." The title...
Can't look at that directly, so let's just open the book.
The poetry book falls open to a poem. She Walks in Beauty, written by Lord Byron. The page is marked by a black garter with a note pinned to it.
A garter?
A lacy black garter with the name Yvette stitched into it. There is also a note attached.
Oh great, Yvette's at it again.
The note attached to the garter reads, "You can have the other garter and much more if you meet me at 3 a.m. in the preservation lab." The handwriting is female.
Okay. I think Wolf's more interested in Olympia, though.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
Oh yeah, I definitely wanted to take that with me. Alright, well that's just... Yvette being up to her usual tricks and maybe revealing a more sensitive side of Wolf, depending on whether this book was his or Yvette gave it to him.
These are book...
I saw those.
This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of art history. This bookshelf is dedicated to the topic of animal traps. This bookshelf is dedicated... Apparently...
That's the same as the other side.
This bookshelf is...
Looks like they're all the same as the other side.
This bookshelf is... This book... Joe Bob's Weapons of the World for 1926. The complete set of books.
Well, at least he's consistent.
A fine example of room lighting. By the look of the paint scratches where the light screws into the ceiling, Heimlich has probably pulled it down for use in interrogating prisoners. This is the sort of thing that annoys Ernie, since he's the one who has to put it back up on the ceiling.
Poor Ernie.
It's a desk lamp.
Indeed. Not very interesting.
A desk blotter, placed in the exact mathematical center of the desk. When Wolf Heimlich mathematically centered this blotter on his desk, he glued it in place so that it would never be accidentally moved. As a result, you can't move it.
I'm not even surprised.
You admire the fine workmanship of the desk blotter. A small imprint in gold lettering reads, "Acme Desk Blotters, when you deserve the best for your desk."
Okay.
A clean, highly polished desk. Specks of dust wouldn't dare to land on it. Sitting on a raised dais, the desk dominates the room. The desk is spotlessly clean.
Yeah, it is sitting on a raised platform. I wonder if that's just so he can appear more
A
intimidating.
clean, highly polished...
No, can't look at that separately.
The interrogation chair does not look very comfortable.
Probably not designed to be
There are
comfortable.
specks of blood and tiny pieces of dried flesh on the chair, all of which are so small that you never would have seen them without your magnifying glass.
Okay, Wolf, what have you been doing here, and is it legal?
You don't have time to sit down, Laura.
Too bad.
It's one of those exotic oriental weapons you've seen before, although you can never remember the name of it.
Too bad. They're not quite nunchucks. I don't know what this one's called.
A fine broadsword imprinted with the mark of the Toledo swordmakers in Spain. It looks very sharp and deadly.
You can still get swords in Toledo in Spain.
Was that a spark you just saw on this weapon? Or was it just a trick of the light? You also detect the faint smell of ozone.
That seems random.
The broadsword looks like it has been sharpened recently. Unlike the other weapons on the walls, this sword appears to get regular use, which might explain Heimlich's dueling scars.
Great. Also a gun.
A cavalry musket.
A musket. Well, it's not very easy to use, so...
Was that a spark you also...
Okay. Don't really know what that's about.
A medieval spiked cudgel, also known as a morning star. Was that a spa you all... A pair of evilly spiked ballet shoes. Ballerinas were tough in the old days.
What? Sure.
Was that a spa you also...
I guess they all say that.
A heavy cavalry saber. A variety of shiny metals. 2 of them with packs of dogs carrying birds in their mouths are marked with the word Reichsjagdgebrauchshundverband. Others appear to be merit badges for the German youth equivalent of the Boy Scouts.
I'm not entirely sure what that German word means. I do know that she didn't quite pronounce it correctly.
Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. A variety of shiny metals.
That's the same.
Not... It's the office of Security Chief Wolf Heimlich.
And although there is no indication that it would be the case, I can't save again, so I'm going to go outside again. Isn't this great? The fact that you can't save in certain rooms. Now I can save inside again for some reason. Though there's no indication that there's anything here, there in fact is something behind here. It's...
What a suspicious looking button. I wonder what it does. Upon close...
Well, only one way to find out. It opens another secret passage, which then, of course, immediately kills you again. And that's the same description as the other secret passage. In the darkness of the secret passage, you're blind as a bat. You have a brave but brief battle, during which you endured a battering of the berserk and bellicose black bats without batting an eye, and your body, bothered by bloody bites, becomes bereft of life. Indeed. But we knew that. Which means that, yes, there's another secret passage here, and of course we want to see where that goes. But we have to turn our lantern on first. We still haven't really talked to Wolf yet. Haven't seen him anywhere yet that we could talk to him. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity. And we're in Dr. Carrington's office at... Oh, God. And I present you with the most ridiculous death in this game.
Dr. Carrington's head holds no clues that you can discover, except for the somewhat pained expression on his face.
It is Dr. Carrington, killed by being shoved on the quills of his own stuffed porcupine. Wow, they really were sharp.
Porcupine quills, which appear to have caused Dr. Carrington's demise as they passed through his body, creating multiple perforations in many of his vital organs.
Alright, let's examine this crime scene. I like how Laura, screams less with every corpse. I told you these murders would get ridiculous, by the way.
There's blood on the porcupine quills. From their position in his body, you infer that the blood belongs to Dr. Carrington.
That seems like a safe bet.
It's dripping blood.
I hope it's not Chris's blood.
You presume the dripping blood belongs to Carrington, since the porcupine was stuffed.
Indeed, it would not have had any blood to drip.
It's... Spiny Norman, former stuffed porcupine desk decoration, is now squashed under the weight of Carrington's corpse.
Indeed, nobody thinks about the porcupine in this situation.
The porcupine's eyes have bugged out of his head under the great weight of Dr. Carrington. Carrington drooled a bit when he died, and his hair could have used a good wash to get all the grease out of it.
Bit too late for that now.
Rigor mortis has not yet begun to set in, allowing the head to move slightly on the neck when you poke at it.
So I guess this did not happen too long ago again?
It's the pale right hand of Carrington's corpse. The fingers are showing signs of lividity. The fingernails hold no clues, but the right index finger has blood on the end of it, although there are no cuts evident on the hand.
Blood on the finger? There is some weird-looking pattern of blood on the table here.
2 letters written in blood on the desktop.
2 letters?
The letters C and P are carefully written in blood on the desk, as if they were put there by the dying President Carrington.
Of course, why wouldn't you take the time to write sub-initials using your own blood while you're dying? CP does not seem to match anybody who was here, though, that we know of.
Don't touch it. You don't know where it's been. It's the body of President Archibald Carrington III. It's the dead body of Archibald Carrington III. From the position of the corpse, you suspect foul play.
Yeah, I don't think he tripped and fell on his porcupine.
Don't touch it. It's the pale left hand of Carrington's corpse. The fingers are showing signs of lividity.
Yes, this didn't happen long ago.
Neither the fingernails nor the fingers hold any clues.
How about the clock appears to have been broken?
The clock appears to have been broken at exactly 12:04 a.m.
Thus giving us an indication when this happened.
The clock appears to have been broken at exactly... The glass on the clock face appears to have been smashed during a struggle. Whether it was a struggle to wind the clock or a struggle for Carrington's life, it's hard to say for certain.
I'm betting it was the latter.
The glass on the clock face... Don't touch it.
Anything new here?
Countess and Ziggy at 1 a.m. Medieval armor display.
Nope. But since it is 12:04 apparently, or was recently, I guess that's gonna happen pretty soon. Anyway. Doesn't look like there's anything else we can find out here.
2 letters written in...
I'd like to know what this CP is about, though. Oh, it is 1:45 now, in fact. Which means that, yeah, we should probably start heading over to the armor room. But I kind of want to figure out this CP thing. Maybe something in the room here?
Look. Numerous hefty...
I forget how you do this.
That's not... Upon close... That's not...
This is not cooperating.
Numerous hefty tomes on the topic of medieval armor.
I think you have to... Yeah, you have to take it. That makes sense. It is Crime and Punishment. That matches CP.
You notice that this is one of the earliest translations of Crime and Punishment into English.
Why would Dr. Carrington write the initials of a book title when he was dying?
The edge of a file folder is sticking out of the book, as if it has been hidden there.
Okay. Interesting. A police file.
There's a police file hidden in the book. A handwritten note attached to the police file reads, "Remember our deal."
A deal?
You pick it up and place it in your purse. By reading a few lines from the book, you gather that the theme of this book is that man pays for his crimes against men by suffering for those crimes. It's amazing how much meaning you can get from a few well-chosen words.
That is quite amazing, yeah.
The book is so well made, it looks like it will last forever. By touching the pages of the open book, you feel a momentary connection with the true meaning that the author was trying to impart to you as he cast his words down the river of time to finally wash up against the shores of your eyeballs.
What? Sure, I kind of want to see what's in that police file, though.
You read a police report on the criminal career of one Watney Little, conman extraordinaire.
Watney Little?
The file contains an amazing list of offences, mostly fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and various degrees of larceny. Glancing at the top of the page, you noticed that the investigations were conducted by Scotland Yard. You also noticed that the last entry describes Little's recent escape from Dartmoor prison. Clipped to the outside of the folder is a small handwritten note that reads simply, "Remember our deal." Apparently this file was provided in exchange for somebody's silence or service.
Interesting. So Watney Little escaped from England. So why does his police file show up here? Is Watney Little here? If so, he might have arrived on the Andrea Doria, which means he might have been responsible for that murder we saw there. But who could it be? Dr. Carrington knew who it was, I guess. And someone, presumably Watney Little himself, had a deal with the police to keep all of that quiet. And that casts some suspicion on O'Reilly, who is after all the only police officer here, the only one who would have been able to get at that police file.
You admire the wood pulp patterns in the paper.
No further evidence there. Let's see, it should be nearly 1 a.m. So we should probably head over there. Wait, what?
A paper cutter with a red blade.
That was not read before.
The red stain on the paper cutter blade could be red ink or blood. Perhaps the last person to use it had an accident?
No, I think we found the instrument by which Ziggy's head was removed. Wow, that paper cutter really was sharp. Alright, we need to go to the armor room. Because there's supposed to be a meeting between the Countess, Ziggy, and Dr. Carrington. At least one of which is still alive, so hopefully she will show up. Doesn't look like she's here yet, so maybe we should hide, and we discovered earlier we can do so behind the tapestry. And it's 1 a.m. now. And there is a countess carrying something. obviously waiting for someone. Dr. Carrington or Ziggy, neither of which is capable of showing up. So let's confront the countess.
Well, well. Good evening, Countess.
What are you doing here?
I just happened to be hiding behind the tapestry.
You're lying.
How could you tell?
Nobody just happens to hide behind a museum tapestry.
And nobody just walks around inside a museum late at night with paintings under their arms.
Paintings? Oh, you mean these paintings? I just found them laying around on the floor and I picked them up so no one would step on them.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Are you accusing me of something, you silly girl?
What do you think?
I think you're a rude girl who needs to learn some manners. The nerve going around accusing people of stealing paintings.
Did I say anything about you stealing them?
Well, of course you did. Don't try to trick me, girl. I've got more tricks than you have brain cells.
One thing I have to ask myself is, why did you bring those paintings to a meeting with Dr. Carrington this time of night?
How did you know I was meeting Dr. Carrington?
I found a note beside his body.
His body? You talk about him like he was dead.
Yes, he is. Dead as a doorknob. You didn't know about it?
You're trying to trick me again. Dr. Carrington is alive and well and working in his office.
Well, you're right about him being in his office, but he's quite dead, I assure you.
Oh, my God!
And you seem to be a logical murder suspect.
Wait a second. You're not going to pin this one on me. I didn't have anything to do with it. Why would I want to kill him? We've got a perfectly good art burglary scheme going.
Art burglary?
I think I said too much.
If you're trying to convince me that you're not the murderer, you're not doing a very good job of it.
What do I care what you think anyway? You're not a cop.
But I am a reporter, and I could write about you in the newspaper. Of course, your reputation would be ruined, and the police would get very interested in you. But you're tough, so I'm sure you could handle it.
Look, it was just a little deal I worked out with Dr. Carrington. An art forger duplicates the paintings on the wall of the gallery. Then we hang them up in place of the real ones, which we sell to private collectors.
Didn't you think someone would catch on after a while?
Are you kidding? That's the beauty of the plan. When we had replaced all the paintings, we were going to slash them and make it look like someone vandalized the real paintings. No one would ever think we'd go to the trouble of forging paintings just to destroy them. And Carrington is here to see that no one gets too nosy.
You mean he was here?
I swear I didn't have anything to do with his death. He was my cash cow. I brought him over from Europe just for this reason. Now that's it. I'm not saying any more about it.
There's actually something else that we want to ask her about. Now that we have her here. And that is, I think it's maybe under MISC. Yes. The Sterling Waldorf Carlton diary we found in Carrington's office.
I saw an interesting diary in Carrington's wall safe. It belonged to Sterling Waldorf Carlton, your former husband.
My dear Sterling's diary. What did you do with it?
Well, I left it in the safe for the police to find.
You didn't read it, did you?
Yes, actually I did. It had some interesting things to say about you.
Lies! All lies! I loved that man. I still love him, despite what he did to his will. Dear Sterling made me a rich woman, or he's going to as soon as the will problems are cleared up.
Sterling seemed to think you wanted to kill him for his money.
Lies! Nonsense! Lies!
Apparently Yvette is afraid of you too. Sterling mentioned her as well.
Yvette! That little trollop! So that's who he was seeing behind my back. She must be the one who made him start changing his will.
I don't know. I just know what I read in his diary.
Oh! I'm starting to feel faint.
Perhaps you should lie down somewhere and compose yourself. We'll talk more later.
Yes, good idea.
And don't try to leave the museum tonight. I'm sure Detective O'Reilly would be interested in hearing what I know about you.
I'm sure he would, dear girl. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll talk some more.
And she actually just stays here. So it seems that the countess was involved in forging those paintings and selling the real ones. She is, however, right that that does mean she has no motive to kill Dr. Carrington, as he was in on the whole thing and was required to make the plan work, so it's not like she would have killed him to get his share of the money or anything like that. Same is true for Ziggy, who was also supposed to meet here. I guess he was their middleman, so I don't see why she would have killed him, since how would they sell the paintings otherwise? That means that I don't think she is the murderer. I also don't see that she had a reason to kill Dr. Carter at all. She may or may not have been planning to kill her former husband. She doesn't really strike the type. She probably was quite well off even just being married to him, and she seemed to enjoy the status too, so it's possible just Yvette planted those ideas in the former president's mind. But I am not certain. That would be another mark against Yvette, however. Although we still don't really know why she would want to murder any of these people. Anyway, we still need to figure out who the actual murderer is, and, find the dagger would be nice too at some point. But we'll continue in the next video.